Hello everyone, my name is Troy Johnson and I'm the founder and webmaster of AALBC.com, the largest website dedicated to books written by or about people of African descent. Today I'm speaking with Tracy Sherrod, who is the editorial director of Amistad, an imprint of HarperCollins Publishers. Her recent publications include many AALBC best-selling books like Just As I Am by Cicely Tyson, The Cooking Gene by Michael Twitty, Black Bottom Saints by Alice Randall, Defining Moments in Black History by Dick Gregory, and many others. Books coming in 2022 include ZORANEALE HURSTON Essays, edited by Henry Louis Gates, Of Blood and Sweat, Black Lives and the Genesis of White Power and Wealth by Clyde W. Ford. She has worked with National Book Award winner Jacqueline Woodson, Man Booker Prize winner Paul Beatty, astronaut Leland Melvin, attorney Benjamin Crump, rap legend Rakim, and many other impressive voices. Prior to joining HarperCollins, Sherrod was a senior editor at Simon & Schuster, and she has also held editorial positions with Henry Holt & Company, The Feminist Press, Essence Magazine, and Marie Brown Literary Services. Ms. Sherrod has been featured in many publications, including Essence Magazine's 30 Under 30 and Publishers Weekly Young Turks to Keep an Eye On. She has also been interviewed in Essence Magazine, on The Karen Hunter Show, in Poets and Writers, The New York Times, and The Wall Street Journal. Sherrod is a native of Flint, Michigan, and a graduate of Michigan State University's James Madison College. She has also studied at Cambridge University in Cambridge, England. Sherrod has also been an adjunct professor in the Publishing Certificate Program at City College of New York and has lectured at New York University. Here, Tracy discusses the history of Amistad and its founder, Charles Harris, how she has expanded on Harris's mission, and what we can do to help her carry on this important work. Here is Tracy Sherrod.
Troy, it's wonderful to see you. I love all of your accomplishments with the African American Literary Book Club over the years. It's just been outstanding, and thank you for having me.
No, it's my pleasure, and I'm glad you made the time to join us. Your credentials and your background, as I mentioned earlier, are quite impressive. Can you give us some insight on the history of Amistad Press and Charles Harris and the work that he did prior to it being purchased?
Oh, sure. You know, Charles was an amazing man, and everyone who knew him said he was the most debonair publisher alive. And he really was just so fashionable, so brilliant, and so giving. And so he started Amistad in 1987, and he started it with proceeds from Arthur Ashe, the tennis legend, and Essence Magazine. And I think that says a lot about the belief and the people who were surrounding him, who said, you know, this is an outstanding idea. And what he wanted to do was to showcase with every single book the genius of Black people, whether that be from the cover design to the copy editor, to the production editor, to the interior design person, all of that. He wanted all of our genius to converge on a book. And he did outstanding work in having that happen. And over the years, you know, before Charles passed in 2016, we used to meet regularly, and he would tell me about different things that he wanted, you know, for the press, and express his dreams and vision for it. And he laid a great foundation and wonderful groundwork. And the people who were hired, you know, after also embraced his vision. And as a result, we have Pulitzer Prize winner Edward P. Jones, and we have National Book Award winner Jacqueline Woodson on the list, and Paul Beatty forthcoming. And we've done outstanding people such as featured Timberland. Like, who else would do a book with Timberland? You know, even though he warrants it on so many levels. And so I think that we have embraced Charles' vision, and try to expand it in terms of volume and revenue. And we've done a great job with that. This past year, we published Cicely Tyson's memoir, which I think would be right up Charles's alley because he was a fan of Black Hollywood in so many ways. And the book sold hugely, and it's beautifully put together. If you get a chance to take a look at it, the tip-in sheets, the fashion, everything that Miss Tyson embodied is reflected in the package of that book.
Yeah, one of the things that struck me early on in your comments about Harris was the support that he received from Essence Magazine and Arthur Ashe. And it strikes me that that type of support might be difficult to obtain today. What do you think?
You know, I think that's a very interesting question, because I think the support would be easy to get and even more volume if we could actually get to each other anymore.
Okay.
And that's the problem. You know, I can't necessarily call up the people that this would be most valuable to, like an Ava DuVernay, or, you know, someone like that who cares deeply about Black people and Black history and who would be willing to invest. But, you know, we have lots of fans though, even though they may be published by a different publisher. You know, I think Nicole Hannah-Jones is a fan, and lots of other people, you know, believe in what we're doing. And Steve Harvey has been a great supporter.
Carrying on the publication of important voices is clearly a continuation of Harris's legacy. And you've been running Amistad now. How long have you been at the helm?
It's just been 8 years.
Really? Yeah,
Yeah.
so your impact has been profound. I mean, even the support that you provide for ALBC is really unprecedented. And you know, if I haven't said it before, I'll say it publicly. Sites like ALBC would not be possible without people like Tracy Sherrod over at Amistad. That, from my perspective, is an important thing, because your support of ALBC allows me to support writers who you don't publish, but writers who I know you feel are important. And so,
because I feel,
go ahead.
Yeah, I feel that we're all in it together. It doesn't matter if you're published at One World. It doesn't matter if you're published with Tiny Reparations that Amber Oliver leads. I think we're all in it together, because I think when you go into the bookstore to buy one book, you're going to see another that you want.
Yeah.
And we also have to carry our voices forward together, because one person, one imprint can't do it by themselves.
Yeah, you are absolutely 100% correct. And it's really heartwarming to hear that sentiment expressed from someone in a major publishing corporation, because that is key. I mean, that is the thing that motivates me as well. And so we're certainly on the same page with that regard. What are there things that readers or consumers can do to help support your work? I mean, I know buying a book is a big deal, but what else can we as readers and booksellers, for that matter, like ALBC, do to really help?
You know, I would appreciate it if they recommended our books more. I go to a variety of bookstores. I shop a lot at Lit, which is in the Bronx. You know, so like almost once a month,
Wow.
a Sunday, I go there and I buy more than $100 worth of books, because I also believe that we have to support each other in this endeavor. Like, I can get any book I want for free, of course, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to purchase the book. And even though HarperCollins published Feeding My Soul by Tabitha Brown, I have bought 4 copies of that book and have shared it and given it away to my friends. And I do that with books. You know, I've bought tons of One World books, proudly. And I'm glad to share and spread the word about those books because they're super important. And so that's what I do, and I hope that others will too. Buy books and then share the information about the books.
Sure.
Let
Yeah,
other people know how fascinating this is and how much it can enrich your life. Such as, can I show a few?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like I love this book, We Are Each Other's Harvest. And the Secretary of Agriculture highly recommends it. And as they should, it's just a beautiful package of gorgeous photographs, poetry, and essays, and the history of Black farming, which people may not realize. Most farming today in America is based on African principles. At least it originally was. And then some things have changed and we've added some chemicals and not, turn the soil as frequently as we should. And then problems arise in the food chain, so it's just beautiful. And then from there, We Are Each Other's Harvest, from the garden all the way to our history of cooking and what feeds us as a community, which is The Cooking Gene by Michael Twitty. And this book won 2 James Beard Awards, which is is the first time that that's ever happened, where you won 2 James Beard Awards in the same year, and one of them was for Best Book of the Year. And it's a powerful, amazing title. And this is something I think Charles would be really proud of, which is Make Good the Promises. Now, this is a book that we did with the National Museum of African American History and Culture. And so I like to think of it as Amistad and the museum, 2 incredible organizations coming together to produce a book. And the book is on Reconstruction, which is so relevant today because as we think we're going through another one that has seemed to come quickly and gone quickly, whereas the other one was quite short too, where we get, some justice in hiring practices and the like, and political appointments and the like.
Sure.
And here's another book that I'm really proud of, which is Ursula Burns, who was the first Black woman CEO of a top 500 of a Fortune 500 company, Xerox. And to hear her story, it's phenomenal. It's very inspiring, and it lets us know all the different places that we can make a place for our voices and ourselves, in corporate America, and make a difference.
Yeah, I think the titles that you just showed us are really reflective of why what you do is so important. When Harris's press was independent, it had some advantages perhaps, and it may have had some disadvantages. So can you talk about the advantages and disadvantages of running a press that's Black focused, and independently or in the corporate environment? What are some of the challenges or benefits?
Oh, sure. For instance, in reading Where You Are Is Not Who You Are by Ursula Burns, I learned a lot about corporate culture. And that's, even though I was in a corporation, there's things that are just not transparent. And there are things that, white people have known from discussing at the dinner table when they were children with their parents that we don't have the opportunity to do. Like one of the things I learned was that, and maybe a lot of people know this, I don't know, that most corporations, the goal is to serve the shareholders, not necessarily the community, not necessarily, other things. And so it's to make the shareholders more money each year. That to me was just absolutely fascinating to know, because then it allows you to fully understand where you are in that food chain, and what you can do to have a greater role in helping to achieve, corporate goals. And And so I learned a lot from that. And so Amistad has benefited greatly from being a part of HarperCollins. Amistad was independent up until 1999 when we joined HarperCollins. And there are many, many benefits to that relationship. And then, and at the same time, there can sometimes be challenges, not specifically because it's HarperCollins, but because you're owned by a corporation. So we need to do books that sell. We also need to be mindful of the marketplace, because you can't just say, okay, we have mainstream publishing, which is, you know, a nice way, as Michael Twitty say, of saying white. So mainstream publishing. And then we have Black publishing. And a lot of people might believe that in developing Black publishing, you just take and color the people brown, and then you just put out the same volume of books. You put out similar books, but just with brown faces on them. And that's not the case, because we have completely different interests. We have completely different experience here in America. And so we want our books to reflect our experience and our truths and our realities. And at the same time, we have to be mindful that, you know, the industry as a whole has embraced Black publishing and multicultural publishing. And so there are a lot more titles. The books are a lot more competitive to get the opportunity to publish. And so all of that plays a role in what we publish and how we publish it. And we've managed at this point to stay true to our culture and perform well.
Great. And that's that must be a challenging tightrope to walk. But you've given the what you've produced and your impact on what I describe as the Black book ecosystem. You're doing great work. And
Thank you.
On behalf of everyone else out there, we appreciate it. I appreciate your candor and that insight. I think that we as readers, as you suggest, should certainly promote the books that you publish, purchase them for friends and family, give them as gifts, particularly during this upcoming holiday season. Are there any parting words or last things that you'd like to share with our viewers?
I would like to say, please purchase You Don't Know Us Negroes and Other Essays by ZORANEALE HURSTON, because that book shows the love she had for her community, the respect she had for us, and the respect we need to re-embrace on all levels. And we need to be able to come together, and we need to be able to connect with each other. And that's why I'm always listed. So anybody can reach out, because sometimes people just need information to know how to get into an industry, either to be an employee of the industry or to get their own writings published. And I want to be here for my community so that everyone has the opportunities they deserve.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Tracy, for your time and your wisdom and your work. And here's to many, many more years of running Amistad and this institution building that you're engaged in. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Troy. Thank you. And all the best with African American Literary Book Club.
Thanks.
We will continue to support.